Okay, hello and welcome to Pop Along RC, the RC car channel dedicated to RC car racing. Okay, so here we go, carrying on with the build. So as you can see, we need a bag C, which is step 19. So if we come over here, there we go, bag C, and then we just need to find step 19. Okay, so it is worth noting at step 19, things are two different sizes. You've got a slightly thinner one and slightly thicker one. So you need to make sure you get those the right way around. So that's D and E. So if we have a look up here at the drawing, the E, which is the thicker one, goes on the outside. So on step 20, you've got these little grub screws, so you've got to be careful not to drop those out the bag. They can go a-wandering. But yeah, we've got two longer screws, two shorter screws, and now what we're looking to do is actually put the front end of the car together. Okay, so this part, which goes on top of the shock tower, it's quite difficult to work out which way around it goes, but the clue is actually in the drawing. As you can see here, this has got a square shape to it, whereas this part here has got a rounded part. And if we take a look at the drawing down here, you can see that it's definitely rounded to the front. Okay, so it's important to make sure everything's moving freely at this stage. There's no real resistance there. And both sides are moving freely. Front of the car looking good. Okay, so moving on to step 21, and it's time to bring out the chassis. So here is the chassis. Very nice. Let's see what we need to do next. So at this stage we have these two chassis inserts, and you can choose between the two. If you use this one, you can actually shorten the chassis by 5mm. So again, depending on what setup you're going by, this is an opportunity to make some changes before you build. So it is worth noting on this, you do have a longer screw which needs to come into these holes here. So you've got the shorter ones for 3 and these ones for the longer ones. Okay, front end on the car and it is looking good. But if we look now at step 22, you can see that the LD3M and the LD3D have slightly different setups from this point onwards. Is the slipper. So this again, you get bag for step 24, all the pieces are there ready to go, and you simply put them together in the order it says. Really liking the Schumacher instructions, super clear, super easy to follow. Again, the LD3M, the LD3D have different instructions at this point. Okay, so we've got the 82 spur gear there, pop the bearing in the middle. Now what we need is the spacer that goes on the top, like so. We've got one of those which goes in like so. Flip it over, and on this side we have another one of these, another one of those, lovely jubbly. And then this one goes through this side. So there, the fiddliest part of the job so far, that is all gone in. So now what I need to do is do the bits on the other side over here. So let's have a quick look at what we need. So on this side we have got one of these which goes on like so. We have a spring that goes on like so. Another one of those that goes there, and then finishing off we have the nut on top. Okay, so I have followed the instructions there, but I'm not sure I've done it right because this is really close to the plastic, you can see there, but I've followed the instructions. I've also done this bit here which says that the nut at the end needs to be 6mm, but I'm not sure if that's right because I say it's sitting very close to this plastic guard. It's not touching though, so maybe that is how it goes. On to the next step. So moving on to the next stage, we have step 25, and for this one we've got 10 screws that we need to go in, and yeah, car is starting to come together now. So we have 3 different lengths of screws. We've got the A's, which are the short ones, B's medium, and C are the longer ones. So let's get this fitted to the rear of the car. Oh, look at that. Now the car really is starting to come together. Next step is putting in the diff. And for this, we have got some diff spacers that we need to select, which can change the height of the diff. So let's get going with the next step. So the base setting, it states, is low. So we will be putting in the spacers for a low diff. Okay, so next it is the shock tower that we need to work on next. And you can see from the drawing there, that part of it is a little bit lower. So you can make sure you've got that the right way around. And then throw these in place. Again, if you're running off a setup sheet, it's worth looking at where you have the suspension mounted. We're gonna go with stock, which means we're gonna put it into setting number 2. Okay, it says to leave these loose until later on when we add the wing. I have just screwed them in for now, so they don't go missing, but they are just loose. But yeah, that is a pretty straightforward step. So there is the rear of the car in place now. Yeah, not long to go now. Let's keep on working through. Next up, we are looking at the lower suspension arms for the rear. So here we go, step 29. Gonna get these arms put on the back of the car. And again, at this point, there are options. So you can have your hub height, which for this one, we're gonna go with low. The hub insert, we're gonna go A, and pivot width, we're gonna go 2. But again, if you've got a setup sheet that you're working to, now's the time to check it so you can build it right first time. So these aren't quite reversible because as you can see here, this angle here is steeper than this angle here. So again, you could just about make out the letter C on this. So you have got lots of block options, but the ones that we're after is the 2 A's. So there's an A there, and that needs to go in that direction. There's an A there that goes in that direction. So once the car's built, it's actually quite easy to see what block you've got in, because the A is quite visible once it is in situ. So here, the pin runs straight through. Obviously you've got these spacers. The screw actually goes in the middle hole of the 3, and then once that's clamped down, it stops the pin from coming out. So we'll just tighten that up. Okay, so next step is doing the drive for the rear wheels. Now, in the bag we get these. However, it was suggested to me that I upgraded to this set, so I'm not actually sure how they differ. So let's open them up and have a quick look. So here we go. These are the ones that came in the set, the Schumacher 65s. And these ones here are the ones that I was told to upgrade to. I'd be interested to know why this was suggested, as there's not a lot of difference, but I'm going to go with what the pros say. And there they are. Let's get these bolted onto the car. So another thing that you need to do at this stage is your toe inserts. So you do get lots of different options to play with to set up your toe. Again, I am going to be going with 3 degrees. I'm going to be doing what it says in the book. So again, at this stage, we have got these inboard, outboard hub plates. And again, if you're going by a setup sheet, this is where you might need to make some changes. as you build this part of the car. Okay, so it's fair to say getting the little inserts in here was a bit of a challenge. Found that quite fiddly. Of all the jobs, I wasn't expecting that one to be a fiddly one, but do you know what? Fat thumbs, tired mind, and we got there in the end. But balls are on the end here, so we are slowly but surely working our way through this build. Okay, so here it is. The LD3 build is pretty much complete. I'm just waiting on the tool so that I can build the shocks without damaging the old shaft, because you've got to look after your shafts. And then it's about putting the electrics in. So I will be getting my electrics from Rochester RC, and they are going to be going into this car. So the electrics go on this, this plate here. Now the actual plate that comes with the kit is the Schumacher compound, but I have upgraded to this one here. So this is the U7678 30-gram brass radio plate, which I will be fitting my electrics to. Motor wise, I'm looking sort of 6.5 term motor ESC in there. So yeah, just the shocks to go, electrics in, and the car is complete. So hopefully you've enjoyed what we've done so far with the build. There will be a finishing video, and also on top of that I've got to obviously mount the wing and paint up the shell, so I'll do another video on that. And you know what, just can't wait to get this thing on the road. So like, subscribe, hit the old ding dong bell, and we'll see you again soon.